Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition, the Hump Day edition of the Rundown. My name is Mike Biaworski. I will be your host, coming to you from the East Coast, from the great sunshine state, the gunshine state of Florida. But I don't do this program by myself.
No, you do not. Coming to you from the left coast, from behind enemy lines, from behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. I will be your co-host today, your co-pilot, Craig DeLuz.
Yes, you will be. You'll continue to be Craig DeLuz the whole day. The whole day.
The whole, well, we'll see how that goes.
That's unless they show up with warrants. You're going to be Craig DeLuz today. Otherwise, you might be somebody else. So you never know. I mean, you're all this smack you're talking about California. You never know what they're going to do. See, I'm in Florida. I'm all right. You see, but you're in California. There, you keep talking that smack. They're going to come throw you in the ocean.
They very well may be, but let's just say I'm not going without a fight.
There you go. There you go. They can have my body, but it's going to be in a pile of hot brass. You know?
Yeah, what's that saying? They can come take my guns. They can take it one round at a time.
There you go. There you go. Don't grab that end. That end's hot. Don't grab that end. Oh, people. Yeah, we kid, we joke. Craig's a distance runner. He's going to outrun him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's unfortunately that seems to be one of the problems with totalitarianism is that it seems to move pretty darn slow. It's kind of like the frog in a pot analogy.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is we're just about to start boiling.
Yeah, right. It's there. It's there. You can feel the burn on your toes.
We'll see if people have woken up by this recall election.
Oh boy, listen. This is not your first recall election either. So,
yeah, we'll be talking. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it on a future show. But I'll just put it to you this way: the numbers are shifting, and they're not shifting in a direction that's good for Governor Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, you know what? And again, we will talk about it later. But I think those numbers or polls are starting to change right now because everybody's realizing that this is real. There actually is an election coming up
that
they didn't know about. So they're actually getting people to go, "What? Really? Oh yeah. We know he's done. He's done. Yeah, we're getting rid of him." So craziness. How was things planned for your hump day today? Anything going on?
Man, just more work around the house. We got some landscaping stuff that's being done around here. Going to be talking with folks tonight. There's going to be a big debate amongst the gubernatorial candidates. At least the main candidates are all Republicans, so it's going to be an interesting kind of debate. Kind of get a chance to see how folks fare compared one to another. So I plan on watching that tonight. So it'll probably be good for some analysis tomorrow. But other than that, man, just chilling, doing my thing out here in Cali.
So that would be your analysis.
Yes.
I didn't know we were doing your analysis on the show, but that's all right.
Oh, we can do some analysis on the show as well.
No, I mean like your analysis, like pee in this cup.
Oh, urine. God. Folks, please forgive Mikey. It's the humidity out there in Florida. But that and the bourbon. But we'll blame the humidity because we dare not denigrate the bourbon.
The brain gets all the wash and the humidity. It just bounces and sloshes around in there. And only thing that brings it out is 12-year-old humor. It's a
12-year-old humor.
That's it. So
pretty much, he said urine.
Oh boy, I can tell you so many jokes about that joke, but let's just keep going.
Let's not go down. Let's not go down that gutter.
And that's where your analysis usually go, by the way. Let's move on. Let's move on to the president. This guy's the best. I remember when Johnny Carson. That just shows you how old we are. When Johnny Carson used to come on and he would start a monologue like, "I just want to thank everybody for President Carter," and just like, "I want to thank everybody for President Reagan," because he would just do his whole monologue about the funny things they did, not being hurtful or spiteful, but everybody makes funny comments, so he would have fun with it, and that's how I feel every day about Joe Biden. It's just that he's always here for us. He's always here to be the butt of the story. So, listen, he talked about defying the Supreme Court of the United States today. Yesterday, I guess he talked about it. There's I know, Craig. Are you familiar with the Eviction Delay Act or whatever the heck it's called? Where if you can prove, or you can even just say that your income has been interrupted or halted, or you've had financial difficulties over COVID, that landlords, and I believe this extends to foreclosures as well, that it's been suspended. They cannot act upon that. They have to just suck it up and eat it while you're there, not paying your rent or your mortgage that is due. Again, as it's tied to job loss and COVID. Now, this, Craig, in my opinion, seemed really like a great thing. Maybe the first 2-3 months during the relief portion of this, but at this point, when we got people that refuse to go back to work, how do we still have this in effect? And Joe Biden's point is, I know it expired last week, but I'm going to defy SCOTUS and all of the other legal scholars and reinstate it again.
Well, and mind you, it's when we talk about him defying SCOTUS, SCOTUS has ruled on this. They've basically said, look, Congress, if this is going to be something that's going to continue, it is the realm of Congress to pass law. They're the ones who do this. And you, as president, it is not within your powers to do so. And President Biden has just flat out said, I'm going to do this again. Once again, thus defying an order of the Supreme Court. And one has to wonder, when you go defying the Supreme Court, violating the Constitution, dude, that's a violation of your oath of office. That's an impeachable offense.
Well, listen, clearly defying their oath of office has never been a big thing for them. They swear to uphold the Constitution, and we know that they go after that all the time with the Second Amendment, as well as many other realms of defying the Constitution. Second Amendment being first and foremost for us, but I don't think that bothers him at all. I think that he believes that it's what he does and what he says is right is what's right, and that's what we get from the left, from the liberal side, that their ends will justify the means, no matter what the laws or what the Constitution says.
And interesting thing is, Mikey, is that if elections and polls, if the election goes the way the polls seem to be headed, you could have Republicans in control of both houses of Congress after the 2022 election, which would put him in a perfect place if he were to once again go ahead and continue to do this. It'd be ample evidence for him to be impeached.
I think we'd start calling that the insurrection of 2022, wouldn't we?
Oh, well, that's what they would call it. That's exactly what they would call it, which would be interesting because, quite frankly, you'd still have to deal with Kamala Harris.
Yeah, they would, but she would be neutered basically in voice. She'd get to sit there and say when the Senate's in session and when Senate's closed. Other than that, she'd have no real job once it's no longer a 50-50 split, except for whatever she's doing down on the border. We know she's been there working that job rather well.
Right. Yeah. It took her a while to get down there.
And she did. She made it all the way to the border of South Carolina, and now she's down there looking at the fireworks factory, or whatever she's doing. She's a piece of work. She's a piece of work. But you know what? Her day's coming. Joe can't keep this up much longer. It gets worse and worse with this guy. Speaking of our good friend President Biden, let's move along to one of our favorite governors, Craig. This guy is he's the gift that keeps on giving to the Republican Party. He really is. I'm so happy that his family is in politics. His brother Fredo there is an analyst on CNN.
Wait. You mean Chris Cuomo?
Yeah. What did I say?
Because you called him Fredo.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the name he was going by now. Fredo.
You thought that was the name he was going by these days.
Yeah, that's Fredo.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
So we know that Governor Cuomo, during the pandemic last year, and these are numbers, facts, proven, folks. You know them as well as I do. That when the COVID started to spike in the elderly care facilities, whether it was assisted living facility, the non-assisted living facilities, just retirement communities, he locked them down. He sent them home from the hospitals, put them back in those facilities, and watched those numbers spike. Watched old people die at an astonishing rate from the COVID, and then did not report it and didn't report the numbers at all. And it didn't come out for a year later until the second portion of this story rolled its way up when he got started
Well,
taking
but
the
wait, Mike.
accusation.
Before you get on to that part, real quick, just be clear. Not only did he not report it, he flat out covered it up, and there's a
Yes.
whistleblower in his office who pointed out that they tried to cover it up and tried to hide the actual numbers. So let's be clear. He didn't just make the mistake and put them in there. He then
Yeah.
turned around and tried to cover it up.
Oh, absolute cover it up. And it came out, like you said, during the whistleblower when they were doing the sexual harassment portion of this. Like they didn't want to take this complaint seriously, so they said, well, by the way, let us show you the numbers and the correspondence that occurred when the governor said it never happened. Here you go. Here's more proof that it happened. And then this governor, all the calls for him to resign. From the Republican governors, from the state committee members, the Republicans there, and to the point where everybody was like, no, it's just the Republicans calling for his retirement. They want him gone. Well, more and more information comes out. Now his peers are out there. The rest of the Democrats in the state, other Democrat governors, and President Biden, as of yesterday, who said he believes he should resign over these sexual harassment allegations. Although, Craig, I don't get this. The attorney general there finishes her report in the state of New York, and he looks at it and goes, look, I'm vindicated. I'm vindicated.
Oh, yeah. No, there's nothing there that vindicates him. There were 179 interviews that were done. And turns out, once again, they found that the accusations made by these women are credible. And, especially in an era of Me Too, I don't know how this guy has not been impeached or is still in office under that whole thing. I think unless you're just going to declare if he's not out of office, then the whole Me Too era is pretty much going to be done. It's going to be, especially when you consider some of the folks who lost their jobs, their careers, their livelihoods because they asked someone out on a date or because they made an inappropriate. They told an inappropriate joke in earshot of somebody, and once again lost their jobs and lost their career. But all that having been said, dude killed people. His policies killed people. We know this. We have evidence of it. And we also know he tried to cover it up, and nobody asked him to resign over that. I mean, come on, man, dude, bro, that's pretty gangster. That reminds me of the whole Eddie Murphy routine where he's like, woman's like, I saw you with that girl, and you was with her. And he's like, wasn't me. Well, but I saw you. I looked you right in your face.
Yep.
Wasn't me. Well, maybe it wasn't you.
This guy reminds me of, this is old school New York politics, Craig. All these people now that have this evidence in front of them, he's calling them and saying, do you remember the one time I did the favor for you? Now you must do a favor for me. There's video, there's Polaroids, there's something out there. This guy's that old school dirty kind of stuff that he's got things over people. And that's why they're just sitting there going, huh? What? What's going on?
Doing a gangster. Hey, Mikey, doing it kind of like this.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's killing grannies and smacking fannies.
And
Vote
that's
for your governor.
And he don't care. He is going to stay in office because guess what? He really doesn't give a darn what people think. And, I'll tell you this. So far, that tactic has worked out for him. Just not resigning. Just staying there. And it's worked for Dems. I mean, I still remember when there was a guy, a congressman out of Louisiana, forget what his name was, something Jefferson. Dude got caught with, $900,000 in a freezer in his house.
Yeah.
Never bothered. Not only did he not resign, when Congress started up session again, the Congressional Black Caucus gave him a standing ovation. So,
well, there's a history of corrupt black politicians doing some crazy things, and then the constituents, putting them up on a statue on a pedestal for it. So, I mean, we talked about Marion Barry earlier in the week. Come on, the guy's caught in the mayor's office with crack and a hooker, and they reelect him. You know?
Look, crack and a crack hole. Okay,
Yeah.
look, come on, man.
Yeah.
In a hotel room,
Yeah.
and and got reelected mayor.
Yep. 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 Yeah, that guy had staying power.
That guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so this guy, I mean, Cuomo needs to go. I don't know who can remove the governor. It's going to have to be the state that goes after him. But you've got like you said, you've got all those other Democrats in there that he controls. So it's not going to happen. This guy's just going to have his term expire before he leaves. How do you think Al Franken feels right now, by the way?
oh, he's probably wondering why the heck he resigned. Although I think Al Franken was getting tired of the political thing. I think that was actually a good excuse for him to kind of leave the stage.
One picture of that guy doing this to a woman. Look, I'm touching the breast. I'm touching the breast.
Well, you know what's funny? I really think this Al Franken realized, look, you know what? There can only be one joke on the stage at a time.
Yeah.
And he realized in Congress, everything is a freaking joke.
Professional comedian. He's like, the joke here is too big for me. Nope. I can't joke at this level. This is crazy level. Let's see. All right. Let's speaking of jokes, let's move right along to the National Health Institute director, National Institute of Health director here, masking up at home. Craig, listen, I don't want to take all the good lines today. Do you want to take this one?
Oh no, dude. I'll let you, dude. You're the lead today, man. Look, I will. I'll do the color commentary.
There we go. I get the play-by-play. There we go.
There you go.
All right. So what is this? I can't remember this clown's name. He's the director, the new director there at the National Institute of Health. He has advised now what you should be doing is at home. You should be masking your kids up at home because they're under 12 and you're an adult, and adults have different spread rates than children do. So from now on, the children and adults and should all be masked inside their own home, regardless of vaccinations. A condition. You should be masked in your own home with your own children at all times. That's what this guy's saying, and it's like, what about the science, bro? What about this? What about the science you've been telling us to follow? And now all of a sudden, your advice is mask your children at home. Got it. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, and that's exactly what Senator Rand Paul said. He pretty much said, how can smart people say such stupid things? He pointed out that, look, it goes against all of the science. Everything that you've been telling us, it goes against all of that. And Mikey, let us not forget, this is the NIH. This is the same group that funded the lab that this thing came from. So, I mean, at what point are we just going to say, I mean, it bothers me because it's like we're supposed to listen to the experts. And the experts, number one, we come to find out that, they're knee deep or neck deep in this mess and how it got created. And then on top of it, they're changing their minds every 2 minutes with the advice that they're giving us. And on top of it, half the advice that they're giving us is just does not make any sense.
You're right. He said, how can people who are so smart say such stupid things? There's no science to defend putting your kids in masks or parents wearing masks. No science whatsoever. And folks, remember, a board certified surgeon. Okay.
Right.
That's the Dr. Rand Paul there. Okay.
Well, right. So. And once again, according to their numbers, I know there are people out there who don't believe their numbers, but if you're going to argue them, it's always good when you can beat them with their numbers. According to their numbers, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than being hospitalized or dying from COVID if you've been vaccinated as an adult. And the numbers are very similar if you are under the age of 18, with or without a vaccination.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, why would you be wearing a mask at home?
Oh, because the NIH director wants you to wear a mask. Francis Collins, by the way, that's the name of the NIH director. Could not recall it a few moments ago. Wants you to be masked at home. Craig, this is a control thing. If I want you to wear masks in school all day long, well, then I obviously have to say you have to wear masks at home all day long. So I have to be consistent in my falsehoods that I put out. I have to try and make my bad science match my bad science.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, my wife and I were talking the other day. It's like, you ever deal with those people, and you see them especially on social
Ooh,
media,
you say those
where
people?
you know they lost the argument, they know they lost the argument, and yet they still continue to argue. And it's so funny because a lot of them, you can argue them down a path where you get them to make a completely and utterly absurd statement because they just don't want to admit, yeah, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, there are some people that will argue to the death no matter what. They're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going rather than just go, all right, okay, all right, I'm good. You got me. You got me. You got me. I'm out. You got me. I'm out. Yeah. So
Right.
nope.
And I think most people are forgiving enough to be like, okay, move on. We'll move on to another topic or whatever. But it's like, dude, no, yeah, you lost this one. Just own it.
Yeah, yeah, you're out. We're done. We're done. That's it. Let's move along. You're wrong. Just admit it. And this is what we've got going on here again. NIH just wear your mask at home. Now they're probably, the next step, Craig, is wear them while you're sleeping. They're going to make you wear them while you're sleeping so you don't spread it
because you don't spread it in your sleep.
You don't spread it in your sleep. That way you don't spread the virus in your sleep.
Mike, I would be laughing hysterically if it weren't a possibility. And we know it is a possibility.
I was reading a story this morning because I always do my research. I like to do research, check from many different angles. Some medical information being released that yes, this variant of the COVID it spreads about 4 to 8 times more than the previous variant we had, the COVID-19.
Right.
But yet, where they were crediting the vaccinations with the diminished effects of it, that you didn't get as sick, now starting to see that, well, this one spreads faster, but it's not as bad, and that had nothing to do with vaccinations. Now they're testing those that did not have the vaccination, and they're finding the same results with them as well. So,
and that's what there were numbers that I was looking at that basically said we're above 80% when you count of people vaccinated. When you consider people who are fully vaccinated and people who've already had COVID, we're over 80% right now. Now's the time when they're doing a lot of the testing to see, okay, what is the effectiveness? In other words, how long will the vaccines last, but also how long will the immunity from actually getting it last? And eventually what they'll find is, hopefully what I'm hoping they'll find is that the immunity in both cases will last longer. And then who knows, for the people who got vaccinated and actually got it, who knows what their long-term immunity will be or protection will be.
Yeah, the number I saw this morning was those that are not vaccinated, the lethality rate is 0.08%. So that's we are getting more cases. It does spread faster, but it's much less lethal than the
0.08 if you're under a certain age, or just in general.
In general, they didn't have the breakdown beyond that. I still have to get you more. I don't want to give you any more beyond what I have, Craig. It was 0.08 was the rounded number they had.
Sounds fair enough
for those exposed. So more to follow. You and I, listen, folks. Craig and I probably call each other 3 times a day and go, I found a number here. I found a study there. So because we look for this stuff. We tell you every day, source your own news, verify your own sources. So that's what we do. Yeah, so mask up at home. If you're at home right now by yourself, mask up. That's what Francis Collins wants you to do. Hey, let's talk about a decent governor. All right, shall we talk about a decent governor? Let's go out to Missouri, and talk about the McCloskeys. Everybody's familiar with the McCloskeys. These were the 2 individuals. I think it was Mark and Patricia, I think are their names. The McCloskeys. These are the ones about a year ago when riots started rolling out of St. Louis. Down towards their neighborhood. Well, I guess it had been reported that the mayor had at one point lived in their town. So the protesters, they weren't a violent mob. They didn't tear down community gates or anything trying to get into this neighborhood. They went down this neighborhood. They were threatening to come into people's houses and take them out. And the McCloskeys came outside and let them view their firearms and change the minds of certain people. Well, the St. Louis district attorney there charged them, and they ended up taking a plea for a couple of misdemeanors here recently. Well, The governor, Mark Parsons, just said yesterday, you know what? You're pardoned. You're done. You no longer have that holding over you. I don't know if that means they get their fine money back, but I think he was only fined like $2,200 if memory serves. And this guy's a big time personal injury lawyer in town. That's just a drop in a bucket for him. So they're done. They're clear. And he's made it clear that he will also be running for office out of Missouri.
Yes, I believe he's running for. Is he running for Congress or running for Senate out there?
Yeah, I don't remember which one. I think it was Senate, if I recall.
Okay. Yeah. No, dude. I'm telling you, this is. The fact is that these folks were simply, defending their home, and once again, we can debate all day and talk all day about their firearms safety habits and how they were handling their firearms and yada yada yada, and how comical it was. Yes, it was definitely quite comical. But in the end, they were doing what any one of us would be doing, and that was they see an angry mob coming at them, and they made sure that they let them know that you try to destroy our property, you try to take our lives, you try to harm us. We're going to defend ourselves, and there is absolutely positively nothing wrong with that. And for that, you basically had the government basically pull the full weight of the government against people who are simply trying to exercise their God-given right to self-defense and their constitutional right to keep and bear arms. And the governor there of Missouri basically said, yeah, no, we're not going to let you guys do that.
Yeah, if you recall, I think the best part I saw about this was when he took his fine, he took his misdemeanor plea for improper display of a weapon or something like that. It was $2,000 fine, $2,200 fine. He had to surrender his weapon. He was like, okay, and that happened on a Friday. He paid it. He paid his fine, and then Saturday there's pictures of him down at the gun store buying a new one. He's like, check it out, I got a new one, because there was no restrictions on him at the time.
Nope.
But agreed with you, Craig. Malicious prosecution. This the state attorney there, district attorney. She came to power after Ferguson, and her whole platform was defund the police. We hate Whitey.
Right.
So that's.
But by the way, and a side note on that, and then once again, those of you in freedom-loving states don't have to worry about this as much, but it's still something you should worry about. If you're ever dealing with a crime, in particular if you're dealing with firearms violations. Be very, very careful if you decide to accept a plea. Make sure that the plea you're taking, even just because it's a misdemeanor, doesn't mean that it's not prohibiting. Correct. Especially if you're in places like California, there are a number of firearms violations laws that even as misdemeanors or domestic violence or anything along those lines. Because some people will accept a misdemeanor domestic violence plea because they just don't want to go to court. Even if they believe even if they didn't do anything, they'll accept a plea. My point to you is that some of these are prohibiting, and you will lose your gun rights either for a short period of time, or not a short period, 5 to 10 years, or in some cases you'll lose them permanently. So, and they're not obligated to tell you everything that you lose when you do your plea bargain. So make sure that you take a time to know exactly what you're agreeing to if you decide to take a plea.
Yeah, excellent points, Craig. Excellent points. Yeah. There are some states out there also, even if you take that plea and it says you can have your gun rights, that they won't let you have gun rights for, like you said, 2 to 3 years, because they have a rule that says no firearms for a period of 2 to 3 years after release from supervision or conviction. So you can be free, but it might be for a little while. So
and you know what, Mike?
Check this stuff out.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Then when you go to another state, like California, you go to an anti-gun state, there are some of those states where it may be cleared in the state where you came from, but California will still deny you.
Yes.
So just once again, I'm just telling you, be careful when you're doing these things. You accept these pleas. 94% of all convictions are the result of plea deals, not where someone actually got their day in court. So be careful what you agree to when you decide to accept a plea deal.
Yep. Very much so. Very much so. Craig, that brings us to our parting shot for the day, and we have a fine gentleman from Scranton, Pennsylvania, who's running for Congress, and he has a new video out, and well, I don't know, we're not going to show we show the whole thing. We got a piece of it.
The whole video is like 2.5 minutes. We're already at 29 minutes. I'm just going to show a snippet of it, and if you like what you see from Teddy Daniels, Google him, look him up, and watch his entire commercial. I think I think y'all are gonna like this dude. This is the sort of
dude.
dude that I would like to have representing me in Congress. Just saying.
Time to bring out the big guns. And the big guns are the millions of men and women in this country who feel as though their voices aren't being heard. I'll be your voice.
I did my part. I served our country in the U.S. Army. I survived gunfights with Taliban terrorists in Afghanistan, and they gave me a Purple Heart. If I was willing to risk my life for freedom when I was deployed overseas, you know I will take the fight to the enemies of this nation in the halls of Congress.
How can you not love the like movie trailer campaign commercial?
Listen, folks, go watch this whole thing. This starts out with old Teddy there sitting down, wearing a button-up shirt with a sweater tied around his neck. You've got to see the transition in this. This is a great little put together they did here for him. So,
and you know where he's from? He's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Does that sound familiar?
It does to Joe Biden. Well, sometimes it sounds familiar to Joe Biden. Sometimes he just wants his tapioca pudding.
There you go. Well, you know what? I'm willing to put it to you this way. I'm willing to bet that this guy would kick Corn Pop's ass.
Well, you know, when the sun hits my legs, you can really see the hair.
All right, folks. Hey, Mikey, once again, we got Freedback Friday coming up this Friday. You want to talk to the folks? Let them know what's coming up.
Freedback Friday, we've got from our good friends at Gorilla Machining and Grid Defense, we have a 9-inch, I believe it's 9-inch, might be 10-inch, I don't know, rail it's a free float rail for your AR, for your America's rifle. So all you got to do is participate. Might be quizzes, might be fill in the blank, but we definitely need to see your comments on the program here at the Rundown, and then we will award the prize to the one that Craig and I pick. Yep, it's kind of an autocracy because we're just going to pick it.
It is very much an autocracy. It's a dictatorship. It's it's our way or the highway, or you guys can just not watch. I don't know.
That's it. There you go.
Please don't not watch. Anyway, folks, as you guys know, look, we have a good time. This is a conversation that Mikey and I are going to have regardless. So we just enjoy being able to have you guys be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's great. Listen, we love having you here, and we love being with you. We want to see you back tomorrow. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, so we can see you back tomorrow. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow you get to take a look at Craig's urinalysis. So
on Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday.
12-year-old humor, guys. 12-year-old humor. That's us. You guys take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday.